This is our final episode, folks. We've got three more modules to go over, and then you can go to work. I hope that you're getting closer to discovering the missing puzzle piece you need to level up your creative game. If not, we've got a couple more ideas today. Module 45 is change your story. You tell yourself stories about yourself and your world. I'm not very athletic. People don't buy landscape photography. All I need is a strong social media presence. The world is controlled by a vast conspiracy. To be creative, I must break rules. Those stories might be true or might be false. Either way, you can change them. Recently, my grown daughter told a story about a family event from her childhood, and the story wasn't accurate. As a child, she didn't understand what was happening at the time. So she interpreted the event as more traumatic than it really was. Likewise, many of the horrible events from your past didn't happen. Ben Zander, the orchestra conductor, gave some advice. How often do we stand convinced of the truth of our early memories, forgetting that they are assessments made by a child? We can replace the narratives that hold us back by inventing wiser stories, free from childhood fears, childish fears, and in doing so, disperse long-held psychological stumbling blocks. Consider some stories from your past. You can retell those stories. I was in popular high school. I enjoyed a few friends at school. My father ignored me. My father was busy earning a living. My mother was abusive. My mother was overwhelmed by motherhood and unable to develop her own art. I've never been successful. I've spent my life preparing for the success I am now beginning to see. A few years ago, I tried an exercise. You just should try it. Rewrite the story of your life in 3 or 4 pages, an autobiography, but very short. Include only stories that end happily. What is the most important thing you learned from a parent? What was a confidence building experience from high school? How did you develop a skill of which you are proud? These are just some questions to get you started. How did you overcome a challenge and become stronger? This exercise helps develop courage, self belief, and positive mood. Hints. First, you might fall into negative thinking as you remember unhappy events from your past. Ignore those and push forward. Uh, Secondly, write in story format rather than in bullet points. It needs to be a narrative. Module 46, Power Nap. So Salvador Dali, he was a surrealist painter originally from Spain. He wrote a book called 50 Secrets of Magic Craftsmanship that explained his success as an artist. In the book, Dali revealed his power napping strategy. He would sit in a high-backed Spanish-style armchair with his arms hanging down. His head would rest on the back. He held a door key in his fingers, dangling above a dinner plate to the side of the chair. When he lost consciousness, the key would fall onto the plate, awakening him. He would immediately pick up his brush and start painting. Just as Dali started to enter the dream state, he would turn the dream into art. If he had slept longer, he would have entered a deeper sleep stage. He realized that tiny naps were ideal for him. Science suggests this can work for you. Module 47, our final module, don't be an idea hamster. When I was a kid, our neighbor often announced his new business ideas. This will make us all rich. Then 2 months later, customers aren't ready, but now I have a better idea anyway. This idea will seriously make us all rich. And he would cycle through this over and over again. He never tired of the cycle. He would announce an idea, lose interest, give up, announce another idea, lose interest, give up for years. He had no courage to implement. He was a wannapreneur, not an entrepreneur. Hamsters run on wheels all day without progress. Like a hamster on a wheel, an idea hamster spends energy without progressing. An idea hamster constantly produces unworkable ideas. An idea hamster never acts. Imagine the universe sends you a new idea, but you fail to stand up and create something with that idea. That's ingratitude. So don't jump around too much. Jeffrey James, who we quoted before, also said, even the best ideas have no value until somebody makes them real. The idea of a keyboardless tablet computer has been around since the 1960s. James Altucher recommends a program for strengthening your idea generation muscle. He calls it becoming an idea machine. You produce more good ideas by producing more bad ideas. I tried the challenge. I wrote down 10 ideas every day, like he recommends, every day for 4 weeks. Here's what I learned. Producing 10 ideas is very difficult, especially day after day, but difficulty is necessary. It's better to generate 10 ideas every other day than 8 per day. Doing all 10 forces you to stretch your brain. It's kind of like you can think of idea generation like weightlifting. So let's say you had a schedule where you lifted 230 every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or 280 every other day. For your brain, it's better to lift 280 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday than to lift 230 every day. Now, with the idea of avoiding becoming an idea hamster, we say that ideas are cheap. Execution is what's valuable, and that's true. What Altucher says is you can generate ideas about how to better execute. Instead of being an idea hamster, you can generate small ideas about how to accomplish your big idea. Try to generate 10 ideas every day for a week. Generate ideas about how to sell your current project, but don't let the ideas distract your focus. Conclusion. As I was finishing prep for this course, I pondered recent horrendous events: mass shootings, cataclysmic natural disasters, wars, bullying, sexual abuse, terminal illnesses, pandemics. Those situations have victims, but they don't deserve to be victims. They deserve better. And you will give them better. You are going to solve problems because you are a creator. Society approaches hypertragic problems with simplistic solutions: more laws, more funding, more force, more diplomacy, but the problems continue. The system pretends to solve problems merely to be seen as doing something. So we need you to rebel against the system. You can propose more clever solutions developed through your creativity skills. Rob Siltonen famously said a quote that is actually attributed to Steve Jobs because it was used in an ad campaign that Siltonen developed for Apple. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not afraid of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So, what can you do today? Dust off an old project and start working on it again. Commit to becoming comfortable with uncomfortableness, or by practice relaxing your mind in confusing situations. Take time to play more. identify how the resistance is dominating you and solve that. Thank you very much for this time that we've spent together. I hope that it has been useful for you. I'd love to hear from you.